King Zardrock Sunblight. Last of his name. What a pity. I do feel a tinge of something at his passing, I suppose. His initial proposal, after all, did have some merit. In a very short time, he built a magnificent keep. His clan was strong, and he was a fine ruler. For a time. Sadly, he was always short-sighted. Never seeing the larger picture, he believed the Chandlin would be groundbreaking in our war against our dwarven kin. Naturally, the land known as Icewind Dale was full of the stuff. What better time to see such material than during some sort of eternal darkness that was sweeping the land? Sadly, grandeur and madness overcame him. He moved from the concept of simply pillaging the pathetic overground settlements to thinking a new empire could be made on the frozen ruins of this place. Utter madness. To think that such a thing would ever have any real permanence. These lands are worthless at the best of times. A frozen wasteland. Not to mention this darkness will not last forever. Even a mighty god would struggle to achieve such a thing. No, it shall pass. Though I highly doubt the surface folk will survive to see it to its end. Well, I suppose we shall see. A shame to waste such a magnificent creature as that dragon, but to be honest, such a thing is highly impractical in the Underdark. For now, my clan will prosper, and that is all that really matters in the end. This is Red Moon Role-Playing. Roshek, you went and found a quiet place. You sat. What did you do to try and commune with whatever this being is that now holds sway over you?
I find this one of the houses, I suppose, that is in ruins. Whatever it is, I try to find a little area that is at least safe from wind, build up a little fire I will light. See if I can keep myself warm but still get rid of some of my clothes and try to patch myself up. After I've done that, I will sit there with the fire and I'll try to focus on the place in my mind where the voice came from, wherever it was. I feel with the powers that have been given to me right now, they seem far away, as if I've exhausted them for now. But I try to reach towards that, and I say, "Speak to me. Who are you? What do you want?"
You receive a sharp slap to the face from a hand which feels like it is made of pure ice. Oh, I'm sorry, my little Roshek. Am I on your beck and call? Do you call to me as you would a songbird, and I come and sing for you? Is that what you think our relationship is?
What are you? Why did you pull me out of that place?
I am your queen. Kneel before me.
And I hear this voice filling me, and it's like I see the fire in front of me rustle. I feel afraid. I stumble forward on my knees. I'm sorry. I did not mean to anger you.
You feel the fire go out. It's suddenly quite dark. Somewhere in the darkness, though, you seem to think you can see something, but it's very unearthly, as if it isn't really here. You feel the hand that slapped you gently caress your cheek. Oh, that's better. I prefer this, Roshek. Kneel. Tell me you fear your queen, and I will forgive you for now.
I do so. I lift one leg forward so I can get down on one knee. I'm filled with a mix of resentment and fear. I am already hurt. I do fear you, my queen. What was it you let me do today? These things, I was moving like smoke, like wisps through the air. Was that from your powers?
Of course it is. Darling Roshek, do you suddenly think you are a wizard? I'm afraid you don't have a little spell book.
What else can I do? Or what would you let me do?
Many things. It is not for me, darling Roshek, to teach you. I don't care. You understand? I am allowing you to do these things because it was entertaining. And you are lucky that I happened to already be here the whole time while you were summoning me.
I see.
Good. Don't worry, though. You were very amusing today. Wasn't that a tale for the ages? What a manner of a beast I have never seen. A dragon made of whatever that was. What a delightful little story. And there you were, standing against it, moving back and forth. Bravo! I was most entertained for a time.
I feel a strange flush coming over me, almost as if I'm embarrassed. I feel like my cheeks heat up, as if I've been praised by something that is important to me. I don't know why. I'm glad that it proved amusing to you, my queen.
You should be. I have decided to be nice. I have decided to reveal why I brought you here in the first place. You have proven that you may be able to do it.
Yes.
Have a guess at what it is. Let's play a guessing game. After all, earlier weren't you saying how you're a big, brave king, and you're going to go back to your wonderful kingdom, your kingdom of maggots and filth?
But it was mine. I understand you wish to be entertained. I have been asked by people here to do things that are happening very quickly. We fight a Dwarga king and his constructs in one day, and now... Were you able to hear that conversation before? About Netheril?
The Netheril. I remember them. Wait, are they not still around?
It would seem as if their empire did fall. What would you know of them?
Nothing I wish to share. It's so difficult keeping up with you and your empires. They're there one moment, then they're gone, then they're there, then they're gone. How do you keep up with them all?
Well, I suppose living in this moment, it's only the here and now. I, to be honest, did not know much about them at all.
You don't need to know anything about them. What you need to know is quite simple, Roshek. You are going to spite Oral for me. Do you understand?
Spite? Spite the god that they revere here?
A god! A god! Hardly.
Well, somehow against my will, there's a smile starting to creep across my lips. It's like a sense of spite is indeed coming to me. Well, that does sound like an interesting task.
It certainly is, isn't it? We once had an understanding, and now we do not. Look around you. She claims to be the Queen of Winter. That is my title.
Queen of Winter?
It is one of my titles. I have many.
I see. Well, if I do this, will you let me use the powers freely?
I don't see why not. Yes, you're here to spite Aurel, break her toys, bring her misery, bring her discomfort, ruin whatever she's trying to do. I will be most pleased to see her suffer. Yes, that will do just fine.
Then that's what I will do. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for communing with me. It is good to have a purpose.
What is your purpose, Roshek? To go back to a kingdom of maggots? To be a king? You know nothing of being a king.
No. To serve you, of course. Despite the Frost Queen. I mean, the imposter.
That is not entirely correct. Remember, in your realm, gods are formidable. I will give them that. Just not in my realm.
Right. I stand there, still on one knee, looking towards what I think is movement, but I'm not sure. A bit confused, but waiting for whatever comes next.
What are you waiting for, Roshek? Am I supposed to give you a little kiss on the cheek to make you all better? I'm not going to.
No. Fine, I shall do what you asked, and farewell, I suppose.
You are met with silence. You are suddenly very alone in the dark.
I look to the sides around me. Carefully, not wanting to provoke any more ire, get back on my feet. And then I clench and open my fists, and I let whatever power I have that I can call upon flow through them. And I start flinging bolts around me in the little house, blowing away bits and pieces of the wall, see them explode in yellow, orange, purple, and blue. And I laugh. I laugh at the powers in my hands.
Roman, the night is long. Am I right in assuming that you probably do not actually spend any time getting rest, or do you eventually, on Kaliana's insistence, get some sleep?
Well, given that we have a very long journey ahead of us in the morning, and that there's going to be dangers on that journey as well, I will eventually have to try to get some kind of rest. Otherwise, I'm going to be putting myself and my companions in danger in the morning. So yes, I suppose upon her insistence, I will eventually try to catch some rest and try to sleep for a few hours at the very least.
Roshek, what of yourself? The inn is full, but there's no reason you couldn't find all of these ruins and to sort of settle in for the night. With a fire, it's cold, but you'll get rest.
After I finish my bout in the abandoned house, or the now even more ruined house, I will once again look out for people that are attending to wounded, maybe mourning the dead, and perhaps I'll find someone who has lost someone that now has a bed space free. I'll try and use my best charming skills and try and find someone that I might impose upon, maybe comfort a bit throughout the night.
Roll me a perception check.
14.
You look for maybe 20-30 minutes. No. The inn is full. Many people are at the town house. It's completely the opposite to how you thought. It's not a case of people having an extra bed or two. There's not enough. A great deal of people seem now completely homeless, and if anything, they are clamouring for first dibs. As a stranger, you are given a bit of thanks, but not welcome, really. Although if you go to the town hall, you might be able to huddle in with everyone else there.
Well, I don't want to die out here in this blistering cold, so I'll look a little bit more if there's any space, any place where I could get some time to sleep by myself, and if I can't, I suppose the town hall it is.
The town hall, you feel it will have to be, and you begrudgingly give in and go there. But you do find a spot, and both of you eventually benefit from a long rest. Morning comes. It's snowing heavily. After a few hours, a funeral ceremony is organised and held. As I said before, it seems almost 130 died during that night, with 10 or 20 more passing away in the morning or early hours despite your best efforts. Considering the population, Roman, we're now looking at 600 total for this village. There also are 50 people who you know, once the ceremony is over, will be packing their sleds and taking to the road. The ceremony is solemn. The bodies will be burned in a great pyre. There is no point in burying them. The captain leads the ceremony. Initially, she's back on her feet, though she is injured, but you manage to help her during the night, Roman. Kaliana and yourself are expected to say something over the burning pyre. Kaliana has told you a few things she'd like to say, but it seems it is up to you, Roman, to say something. Most of the survivors are gathered around you. The pyre is in a cleared part of the western part of town. There's so much rubble here, but there's also now space. To the east, just a few minutes away, you can see the perimeter around that great carcass, but it has been held, although you hear rumours that 1 or 2 people may have snuck past in the night. What do you say as the townspeople look to you? The speaker is by your side as well.
We lay to rest some of the best of us, some of the ones who were lost in this calamity that has befallen our town. Many of them fought. They fought bravely. They fought hard. They fought until the very end to protect us, to protect you. We owe them a debt of gratitude that we can never repay. But we can remember them. And through that, perhaps, we can begin to repay the debt that we owe them and honor their memory. We will get through this. We owe them that much. We must make sure that they did not die in vain. May the Morning Lord, Ilmater, and all the gods that are good and just protect you and protect Easthaven. And I lower my head in prayer.
Captain Imdra remarks, "The town of Easthaven is grateful to you, Roman, and also your friend Roshik. Let none forget that if not for these two, during the night, the situation may have been far worse. We are in your debt, for better or worse." And she throws a torch onto the flames, which begin to burn the funeral pyre. People begin to dissipate after a time. What are you doing, Roshek, during all this?
I stand watching fairly idly. I'm starting to care a little bit less and less for this village and its customs. I have to stifle a yawn at one point, and I wait from one leg to the other, waiting for this to be over.
Captain Imdra is by your side, Roman. During the night, you had a few moments where you were able to report what actually happened. After all, she was keen to know about your mission. So you're certain these Dwagar will no longer be an issue? I cannot believe what you've been telling me. I'll be honest, I don't know if we would have been able to hold off both that dragon and a Dwagar raiding party at the same time. Thank goodness you managed to stop that.
Yes, they are gone. They have sealed their kingdom. They will remain in the Underdark. They are led by Grandolpha Muskrat, someone who is very much not interested in what we have to offer up here on the surface, which in this case is a very, very good thing. No, I don't think we have anything to fear from the Dwagar. We can, of course, also not expect to get any help from there. Not that that would have been very likely.
To be perfectly honest with you, I wish we could lead a group of people and take them all out. They have wronged us greatly.
Yes. Well, if there's anything that may make it easier to handle, then know that it was the Chardalin. The Chardalin had corrupted their king. And, well, they built this being out of that material as well. They are, of course, at fault here, but it is not just on them. It is this material. It is whoever constructed it, whoever brought this evil to the world. Fault lies with them as well. And I do believe that they will not be a threat anymore. So, yes, we do not need to worry for them.
I see. Well, on your recommendation, I will try and get selected groups of people to try and pull as much of this Chardalin as we can out onto the ice and let it sink. It's going to be tricky, though, especially if we can't really keep in contact with it for very long, according to Kaliana.
It's going to be very, very difficult work. I know not what is going to be the most sustainable, to be honest, but I suppose it would make sense to try to get it out there. Continuing to keep this perimeter, it's not going to be possible to do for too much longer. I'm sure the militia won't accept standing guard around this thing forever.
No. At this point, Roshek, you can see Captain Imdra and Roman speaking. There's nothing stopping you joining them slowly, if you wish.
I do go over to them, and I say, yeah, bring it all out to the lake, blow a hole, let it all sink.
Easier said than done, Sir Roshek. Still, we will do our best. At least the sacrifices will be on hold. I've had a word with the speaker, and we feel we'll be easily able to justify this many dead as more than enough of a sacrifice.
I'm sure it is, I say, looking around, trying not to be too obvious with rolling my eyes.
Well, we shall head out soon to try to find something that might make the situation better.
Captain Imdra focuses on you suddenly, Roshek. She's quite a sharp one. She noticed the eye roll. Something on your mind, Roshek? You fought bravely in the fight, and yet you seem a little disinterested in our plight.
No, it's not that. I do feel for you, and I did my best to try and attend to people afterwards. It's just, I don't really see the need for throwing people's lives away for, well, these beliefs that you seem to have here. I don't know if you, for example, would pop up on that lottery list.
Yes, I'm on the list. I would have gone and done my duty for my people.
Well then.
She glares at you a little bit.
It's good for you, I suppose.
It would not have been, but again, it's not about the one, it's about the many. But as I said, hopefully it won't be needed. I cannot speak for the speaker, but I have spoken with Roman. We sometimes have disagreed on how things should be done to protect the whole. Anyway, it doesn't matter. For now, I am going to trust you, Roman, in what you're doing, but I will tell you, you need to be quick. You are an intelligent being. You know what we did cost us greatly. A couple of months at best. before the whale oil runs out, before food runs out. Already, people are getting restless. The town will... She pauses. It will not survive a few more months of this weather and this winter. It's simply a fact.
It is. It is. I will go with all haste.
We will go with all haste. And believe me, I will do my best to help your community get out of your predicament.
She squints again at you, Roshek, before looking back to Roman. One last thing. You are certain this scheme is not some sort of trick? How much do you even know about this wizard? I am letting her go for now because she did assist. But do not forget that the other wizard also offered assistance and instead simply led to death.
It may very well be a trick. It's possible. But I don't feel that we have much of a choice other than to go with trust. And to hope that she's not leading us into some kind of trap, or that it is not some kind of ploy to get some kind of other advantage. To be honest, I don't really see what she could get out of it. We are not all that important in the grand scheme of things, and especially given the situation in the town right now, it is not as if there's great riches to be gotten from us, is there?
No. Just be cautious. Remember, I told you. The wizard Dazan. He said he wasn't alone. It seems quite fortuitous that this wizard was wandering around and decided to just help you, randomly. I am suspicious, but again, it's not up to me, is it?
It's very possible that they were working together. I will admit that. Well, I will sleep with one eye open, if I can put it that way.
The captain nods and begins to depart. There is one more person, though, who comes to your side, Roman. It is, of course, Kaliana. Okay, you two. Well, I assume we'll have to get back to the town hall. There's much work to be done. Roman, you're certain you need to go?
Yes, I think so. I don't think that there's anyone else that can do this. No one else than me and Roshek. We're probably the only ones who have faced these kinds of odds in the past and gotten through it. If anyone can do it, it's us.
She looks at you imploringly. I know.
And I put my hand on her cheek and I caress it. And I will miss you too.
Well, that makes me glad. I'm sorry I'm being selfish. I know I shouldn't. My god would not be happy with me.
But I am happy with you. And there will be much to talk about when I come back. Don't push yourself too hard, okay? I know that you want to save everyone and there will be much suffering. But don't take it all on yourself.
It is my faith. I have to try. Please come back quickly and safely. You as well, Roshek. Kaliana comes towards you, Roshek, and she smiles. I feel maybe a little part of you doesn't think you belonged here, but you did. You helped us. People are grateful. I hope you know that.
I smile a little, and I put a hand across my chest and I give her a bow. Lady Kaliana, your hospitality has not gone unnoticed. On the contrary, it was very much appreciated.
I'm glad. I hope you've learned something. She smiles.
I give her a wink.
Roman, you can roll me an insight check if you like.
19 plus 6, 25.
Roshek, do you think you'd be aware that Roman was assessing you? If you are, you can attempt to roll a deception check. Or you can let him read you like a book. This is your choice.
I'm not trying to hide anything from him.
Then would you mind telling Roman, is this true? This wink, this smile? Or are you hiding your true feelings? Roman will know.
He will see that I am oddly entertained by something, and that I do mean what I'm saying to her about being grateful.
Then that's what you see, Roman. He seems to be genuine to a point, but then there is something else, some entertainment. It maybe even reminds you a little of the Roshik you once knew. What do you think of that?
He has changed, but he is still who he was, I suppose. It's good. It's good to see that there's still some joke, some jest, some light within him.
Kaliana nods and parts with just a kiss on your cheek, Roman, and in your ear just mutters, I think you'll need to help him a little more, Roman. Don't let him stray. I think there's a good man in there somewhere.
Yes, you're right.
And she departs. You know that Velen is waiting for you at the town exit. Doesn't really seem much else to do here now, unless you wish to speak to someone in particular. You noticed, by the way, that your friend Ronaldo has been leading some sing-alongs for some of the people trying to work today. Roman.
Oh, I move up to Ronaldo. You survived.
Oh, of course. Well, you know, I did my best. Not as brave as you two, though, but I've come up with a song. It's entitled, The Two Brave Dragon Slayers. You're obviously the main characters.
Oh, I'm honored. Ronaldo, it's... And I sort of get down on one knee. It's gonna be really tough now. You know? And you're gonna be really, really important to the town. You're gonna be their soul, their joy. You're gonna help them find laughter.
Well, I won't lie, it's quite scary and a little bit nervous-wracking, but I'm going to do my best. After all, you've inspired me, and well, you know, you're heroes after all. You're going to come back and save the day. That's how stories work, don't you know?
Of course we will be back. And until then, take care of them. Take care of their hearts.
I'll do my best, Roman. I'll do my best. Just for you. Just you wait. You can rely on your friend Ronaldo.
I nod to him, and I pat him on the back, and then I begin moving back to Roshik.
Yeah, seeing him go off and starting to hear the talk about being heroes and songs written about me, I give off a yawn and I start already heading towards the gates where we're supposed to meet Valen.
And so you meet Velen there with her 2 sleds. At this point, are you going to request that you are allowed to keep the axe beaks?
Yeah, I suppose at that.
You are then given them as a parting gift by the captain. So you ride towards Velen with your supplies, your gear. She yawns a little. Ah, very good. You are a little late, but I suppose you had to do your little ceremony, whatever. Anyway, very good. We can begin planning. So, step 1. She steps forward off her dog sled. The first issue, of course, is getting in. You see, the ruins of Ythryn are located... She sort of gives you a map coordinate that you probably don't understand. Sort of there on the Regid Glacier, you understand? But of course, you can't get through the Regid Glacier. You know why, yes?
Because there's a whole city frozen inside of it?
No. Okay, I apologize. You're not local. Roman, explain to him why people don't just go through the Regid Glacier.
Why is that?
It's a glacier. A solid, icy glacier, completely impenetrable.
Well, yes, because it's basically a big frozen ice block, and getting through it is, well, it is not something that one attempts lightly. It is impassable unless you have extremely specialized gear and skills. And even then, it's a massive challenge.
Exactly. Which is why we need something to help. And who better than, well, something that belongs to Auril. Or her faith, anyway. Are you familiar with the Codicil of White?
Codicil of White. Is it something I've heard of?
Roll a religion check.
19.
It's not something you are familiar with, per se, but you know roughly what it is. After all, religious faves have their books. Lathander has several. But the religion of Auril, you are aware, is rather a small religion, especially these days. But isn't the Codicil of White? Yes, you think it might be something to do with the religion, something very important, maybe a holy text, even.
Right, it's one of the holy texts of the faith of Auril, correct?
Correct. Any idea where it is? She smiles a little. Clearly she knows the answer.
If I were to venture a guess, I would say Bryn Shander.
Oh my... Bryn Shander! Oh yes, remind me to go to the Temple of Auril in Bryn Shander. You are very aware there is no temple to Auril in Bryn Shander. There are no temples to Auril anywhere, at least not publicly anyway.
No, but I figured if there's people leading these sacrifices, I mean, if they seem to be based out of Bryn Shander, I mean, that was where the agreement was made. I sort of guessed that that's where it would be held. I mean, that we would have some kind of access to it. That's why we would have figured out that making sacrifices is a good idea. But perhaps it is located in some secluded temple somewhere in the wastes.
Well, my understanding, my dear boy, is your sacrifices were agreed by your whole entire community, which, makes sense. After all, to appease a god, sacrifice things to them. But no. No, Auril's temple is somewhere... Well, there used to be one, I think, in the history records that was a lot closer by, but I think that got lost during some sort of incidents that happened 50, 60, 100 years ago. I don't remember. I think the Dark Elf was involved, something like that. No. The Temple of Auril, we believe, or rather where the Codicil is, well, it took a little bit of finding. We believe it is somewhere in the Sea of Moving Ice.
In the sea?
Yes. Well, not in the sea, but on top of the sea, I would imagine. Not underneath it, no?
That would make it a little bit easier, but still very, very difficult. All right, but if you know the location, sure, let us head there and get it, if that's what we need to find what we're looking for.
Well, that's the thing I was willing to ask your opinion on. After all, getting into the Sea of Moving Ice is rather tricky. I've heard a few things, though. Are you familiar with... what's it called? Oh, Angajuke's Bell.
And I try to jog my memory. Is this another religious artifact?
Yes, you are familiar with this, Roman, but it is not a religious thing. It is simple local legend. Angajuke's Bell. It is said, far on the northern coast, by the Sea of Moving Ice, there is a bell. People say that if you ring this bell, a being arrives. A friendly, sentient being. You've heard rumour, although it seems a little silly, that it is a whale. It is said this whale gives passage to people through the Sea of Moving Ice. You've heard a few people say they have met the whale and used it, but it's one of those stories where if you can't confirm it, a lot of people just laugh it off. But yes, you are familiar with this tale.
Angajuke's Bell. We ring it, the whale comes and takes us to this Codicil. Is that your idea?
Well, it might know where I'm aiming for, you see. That's the hope. Divination magic is tricky. We know it's somewhere in the Sea of Moving Ice, but it's always hard to pinpoint exact locations. It seems to move, after all. I suppose that makes sense, the Sea of Moving Ice. Things move in it, don't they?
They would, wouldn't they? Well, I suppose it's not a bad hunch. I mean, we could go there. It wouldn't... How long would it take to get there? I try to think. Is it a very long journey, or...?
If rumour has it where it is, although you don't know exactly where yourself, but the northern coast of the Sea Moving Ice, roughly a day away, you'd travel past Bryn Shander, you'd go north. It's going to take you probably 3 or 4 hours to get to Bryn Shander, and then from there maybe 7 or 8 to get to the northern coast. So probably a day's travel.
Oh, we're not going to lose too much time even if we aren't able to find it. Yes, let us see if we can locate this bell and perhaps find this Temple of Auril.
Excellent, excellent. And just to confirm, it's not just a complete rumour. I have a rumoured location, but we were a little unsure. I was a little unsure that it actually existed. It does exist.
Hey, we're with you. Just don't lead us into anything nefarious, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I be leading you into anything nefarious?
You're a necromancer.
I am a wizard who specializes in necromancy, not a necromancer. Get your facts straight.
And I smile. This is gonna be fun, isn't it?
What is your opinion, Master Roshek?
Well, you seem to have it all pretty nicely planned out. I'm curious, though, what happened to that other person, and why did they choose to abandon you?
Oh. Well, we can talk about that along the way if you actually think it's important. I don't. What I will say is that I'm pretty sure they are no longer in any of the 10 towns, which means they likely have gone ahead. They also wish to find the lost city of Yithrin by themselves, seems.
So they're not loyal to you, then?
No, they're not.
Huh. Alright. Well, as long as you know, you'll let us know what to look out for, so we don't stumble into someone trying to, ambush us and things. I'm guessing that they'll be going for the same goal as we, if they need that same book to open up the glacier and that. We might meet them along the way.
That would be fortuitous. If we are able to find the girl, I'll be able to get back my property. I have to admit, though, I generally didn't think she had it in her to actually go all the way by herself. But it turns out she did!
Sounds like someone ambitious.
You would have to be. Both of you can roll me an insight check at this point.
5.
20.
Roshek, ambition. That's a good word. You like ambition. You start thinking about that. Roman, it does occur to you suddenly. Who is this woman? You notice she said a few times we, and how on earth has she found out all this stuff? It seems awfully convenient for a single person to have been researching all these things and finding out all these things. And yes, Roshek brought up a good point. She was originally looking for someone else. Who is that? All these things are going through your mind.
There's much she hasn't told us. We'll have to try to figure out along the way. We have certainly been warned enough about this person, and, well, this whole necromantic magic, it doesn't exactly sit right with me. It is nefarious, and I do not like it one bit. I will use the journey to try to get as much information as I can.
Very well then, are we ready to set out? We go to this bell, and hopefully it will lead us to the Codicil. Once we have the Codicil, we will be able to enter the glacier. And then, well, the city of riches will hopefully await us. I assure you that both of you will become quite famous.
Great. Just what we need.
Oh yes, and probably save the day as well. I'm sure that's vitally important to you both.
Yeah, of course. Saving the day. Becoming famous. Isn't that what it's all about?
Maybe we can slay the devil while we're at it. Worked out great last time.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Slay a devil. Interesting. I can summon a devil if you like, and if you can slay it, would that make you happy? Actually, it'll be quite tricky.
Best not do that. It seems quite dangerous. We really don't need that kind of distraction right now.
Well, if we have some spare time over, but for now, I start ushering my mount on. Let's find ourselves a litany.
She begins moving to her dog sled, and the other dog sled begins getting into action. Again, you notice the kobolds, for the most part, don't really seem interested in what any of you talk about. They mutter to themselves and then just smile when they're told to do something. And she begins getting ready to ride off. This time, you'll be riding down the east way. Last time, you veered off it quite quickly, but this time you were riding along the whole road. And you set off. Doesn't take long before you realize you are not alone on the road. Several other sleds, and some people on foot, are all making their way to Bryn Shander. You, of course, Roman, know immediately who these people are. The survivors of Dugan's Hole and Goodmead. Dugan's Hole and Goodmead are small. Barely 100 population to both of them. so there's not that many. But there's at least groups of 10, 20 or 30. They'll all be heading to Bryn Shander. It is, after all, the place agreed upon that will take in people during such times. How are you feeling as you ride along the road seeing this, Roman?
I fear for them. Of course, they would be taken in by Bryn Shander, of course. Promises have been made. But these times are extraordinary. I am not so sure that they will be welcomed with warmth. Well, yet another reason to try to do this quickly. I think, as I get my axe beak to move faster.
Roshek, what do you think? Today it is a crisp day. Dark, of course, but at least the air is crisp.
I think to myself, if we're gonna go cross country and out into the sea, well, I wish at least there were some lights that we could see the sights. And I start regaling the tale of Etin, the goblin, who was named so because of his abnormally big size. His mother was very proud of him, and I keep on going as we journey along.
You continue your journey for at least an hour, and there is a moment where both of you have time to say something to each other before you start riding a little heavier. What the two of you say is you ruminate on the path behind you and the path ahead.
And so you see, Etin the goblin decided that he wanted to be a kobold, and he disappeared into the hills up above... oh, blast, I forgot the name of the village.
I'm sure you will remember it. We will have quite a lot of time to share stories.
Yeah. You're sitting all right there?
I am. It's a new journey. Yet another one together with you in just a span of a few days.
Yeah. It's, different, isn't it, though?
Yes. I think we are different. But I think that the darkness is the same. Don't worry. We can handle it. We'll bring back the light.
A question, if I may.
Of course.
Do you speak to Lathander a lot?
I do. Well, whenever he decides that he has time to answer. He has been somewhat short with me since I've gotten back, but don't worry, I think we're going in the right direction. I think I have regained at least part of his trust. Perhaps this will allow me to regain it all.
Huh. Well, enough for you to use his powers to conjure that miniature sun over the village. That's not something an everyday priest would do.
I suppose not. What about yourself? You seem to have found powers.
I suppose I have. Or perhaps more accurately, powers have found me. I don't really know the name of my benefactor. Not really. What does he say to you when you talk to him, though?
Oh, the usual. Bring the light to the people, stay on the path, follow my teachings. He's a just but strict god, and I follow. What about the one that you serve?
Well, she seems to mostly want to be amused.
Be careful, Roshek. I know not who you serve, but gods can be very, very dangerous.
And I look forward. I have a small grin on my face still. It seems to not wane now. I sit a bit more comfortable, getting used to riding on these axe beaks after just one day. At least now I don't have any bruises. And I smile, looking ahead, feeling somewhat jovial, like I'm about to commit a big prank and it's all just one big joke. Despite the aches and pains and bruises from last night, I sit a little bit better on this axe beak than the day before.
And the east way continues onwards as you ride, and a light snow begins to fall.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The music was created by Flowers for Body Snatchers, Ugasanye, Word Clock, and Metatron Omega, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check them out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, and David Hagberg for their generous support. And we would of course like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, this show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. May Lathander protect you, and fill the world with light.